Hello there and welcome to How to Pass the Cabin Crew Selection Process. My name is Richard McMunn, and for the duration of this presentation I'm going to teach you how to prepare effectively for the tough cabin crew selection process. Now, once I've completed this presentation, please go along to cabincrewcourses.com, where I will provide you with details of how you can get the full cabin crew selection process course. Okay, let's get straight into this. I teach people before they apply to become cabin crew to understand the role. Okay, the role is crucial to your success. You need to understand the role because, as you can imagine, lots of people apply to become cabin crew every year and they think they've got an idea of what the role involves, but they haven't got a thorough knowledge of it. Okay, during the selection process you're going to be predominantly assessed against the role, the qualities and the attributes that are required to become a high quality member of the cabin crew team. So I say to you, understand the role of cabin crew because it is key to your success. So what does the role involve? Well, first of all, you obviously have to be dependable. It's one of those roles, it's very similar to being a firefighter, being a police officer, where you can't just ring up and say, look, I'm not coming in today, because you basically let the team down. Okay, the customers and the people who fly on the aircraft are relying on the service. Okay, the airline can't just cancel flights periodically because they haven't got sufficient staff. So you need to be highly dependable, and that means turning up on time and being reliable for the flights that you're due to attend. And during the selection process you're going to have to provide examples of where you match each and every one of these different attributes. Because anybody at interview can say, yes, I'm a dependable person, and anybody can write down on an application form that, yes, I take a pride in my appearance, but you need to be able to provide evidence, okay? And that is the difference between a successful candidate and somebody who won't get through the initial stages. So being dependable, obviously having an understanding nature is important as well, because let's assume that you're waiting for the passengers to board the flight. Some of them may have been waiting for hours to board the flight, especially if it's been delayed, and it's only natural that they're going to get on the flight and they're not going to be in the best of moods. So obviously you have to put on a smile, you have to care for their needs and understand that, you know, they're going to be a little bit annoyed and frustrated. That doesn't mean to say that you have to take any verbal or physical abuse from the passengers, but you have to have an understanding nature. And especially when dealing with complaints, because as cabin crew you're going to have to deal with lots of complaints. You have to have a caring nature as well, and you also have to have a good sense of humour, because as you can imagine, it can be quite a stressful job sometimes. Very unsociable hours, yes, okay, you get to travel to some fantastic places and meet some great people, but it can be stressful. A lot of people who apply to become cabin crew don't understand that, so you have to have a good sense of humour. You need to take a pride in your appearance. We've all been on flights before. Do you see that many scruffy dressed cabin crew? Not many. Okay, I've seen one or two in my time, but the vast majority of them take a great pride in their appearance. And that is important because you are acting as a role model for the airline. Okay, you're the face that the customers see, that the passengers see when they get onto the aircraft. So you're the first port of call. You have to take a pride in your appearance, and remember that word, being a role model, is important. You obviously have to be motivated, because you're going to have to be you know, going on flights at unsociable hours, and you have to be motivated to get up, you know, to make sure that the aircraft is ready for flight for your passengers on board. And that comes in with being enthusiastic as well. Now you have to be a confident person, because you've got to deal with people's queries and sometimes complaints. So you have to be a confident and resilient person. Having said that, you also must have a friendly nature and friendly approach. So I've already mentioned about being resilient, and that is being able to deal with difficult circumstances, deal with pressurized environments. So when things are going wrong, you have to be the person who's resilient and deal with it. You have to be patient with people. So when you're standing there and the aircraft has got its allocated time slot of flying within 5 minutes, and people are taking their time getting on board the flight, you have to be patient with them, but you also have to make sure that the flight gets off in time and everybody's sat down in their seats, and you have to go through all the pre-flight checks as well. You have to have a mature outlook on things. You obviously have to be organised, especially in your calendar and your dates. knowing where you have to be and at what time, and also a good effective listener and communicator. So you have to understand the role of cabin crew. It's very important. Now the application form, around 95% of applicants fail this important stage, which is normally due to a lack of preparation. When you're completing the form, whether you have to write it out or it's an online form, make sure you read the requirements first. Now, I'm not just talking about reading the application form and the questions, but you should also read the guidance notes. So before you complete the form, read all of the sections, advice and guidance first, at least twice, to see what is required. And I do say to people, get yourself like a highlighter pen and highlight the key essential areas and requirements of what the cabin crew recruiting company want from you when completing the form. So follow the guidance notes rigidly, and it may ask for a particular colour ink if you're completing the form in a written format. If it says complete it in black ink and you complete it in blue, then you can't follow instructions. Practice first. Now some people just want to get the form completed and get it sent off, but I say practice first. Make sure you photocopy the application form. You're certain to make some mistakes the first time round, so it's wise to practice and write down your answers before completing your submission. And the application form may also provide you with boxes in which to complete your responses. If this is the case, make sure that you follow any specific instructions. Sometimes they will ask you for a certain word count. Don't go over it. Now, demonstrating that you can match the role of cabin crew is crucial, as I stated at the beginning. So I'm going to read out a sample question from an application form, and I'm going to give you a sample response, and I've highlighted some key words that I think are important to include in the response. So the question is, having applied for the position of cabin crew, you are obviously interested in travel and people. What other reasons do you have for applying? And here's my response. I've always had the ambition of becoming a cabin crew member from an early age, and now that I have the relevant customer service skills, I am ready to pursue my ambition. Other reasons for my application include the fact that I enjoy working in a customer-focused environment and thrive on the challenges that such a career brings. There is no better feeling than successfully resolving issues for customers, and I believe I would enjoy the responsibilities that a cabin crew member has. I personally set myself high standards, and I would enjoy working for an airline that expects the same from its staff. I love working in a team environment where everybody pulls together to achieve a common goal. I am the type of person who works well under pressure and would feel that the role of a cabin crew member would be suited to my qualities and attributes. Finally, after researching the airline, I've been impressed by the high level of service it offers and the reputation that it has successfully built so far. I would like to be a part of that team and would work hard to ensure the current standards are met. Now that response is a good, solid response because I have provided lots of key words and phrases that are relevant to the role. So don't forget, you're being assessed against the role of cabin crew, and by putting in these highlighted keywords and phrases, then you will be well on the way to submitting a successful response. Now, if you want more sample questions and sample responses, and you want to know how to prepare and pass the assessment centre, and know the questions to the interview, and also find out how to respond to the questions, please go to cabincrewcourses.com. Thank you very much for watching.